Hello again, and welcome back to some climbing news. I've been gone a few days, and I apologize. Did you guys miss me? I'm not gonna waste your time, I promise. Back to our regular schedule. Let's just start the show. Okay, and straight out of the gate, one of the big things I missed. Ryuichi Murai sent Return of the Sleepwalkers, this dude's first 9A V17, which is actually kind of surprising given how ridiculously strong he is and how much of a legend he has been for as long as he has. I mean, he's got first ascents of Nexus, United, and Floating. Like, those are three of Japan's most iconic and hard AT plus boulders. AT plus being V16. If you haven't checked them out, go check them out. But hey, maybe you just know him for his annual sieges on Burden of Dreams, which he has also just documented like crazy. I mean, we're talking like Will Bosey levels of social media presence, which, can be both a good and a bad thing. Either way, he will eternally have my respect for that one time where he asked people what they thought the best ethics would be for his start of Burden of Dreams. I mean, dude's pretty short, couldn't reach the starting holds with his ass on the ground, so he was asking people if they thought it'd be better to stack pads or crouch start. I don't really remember what people said, but either way, dude's an honest short king. Which brings me to the whole Sleepwalker crux thing, which is pretty well known for actually being pretty freaking morpho. I mean, Nalik, god damn it, Nalik, come back, we miss you. Famously had a ton of trouble with it because of a relatively short bait index. A disadvantage that then J Bobo XXL Webathon was able to exploit to sneakity snake the effect. You just can't trust Jimmy to not climb the cool boulder. Dude's like a freaking bear looking for food in your tent. He'll get in there and take everything you got. I swear I'm joking. Jimmy, please don't hurt me. If you're watching this, you're a lot bigger than me, and yeah, it's scary. You're my favorite climber in the world, I promise. Look, point is, the big move to the sloper is harder if you're short. Evidenced by dudes like Xander Waller, who's real freaking tall, blowing past some moves and finding new beta and downgrading Sleepwalker to 8CV15 when he did it in only 4 sessions, and also when he previously only climbed V13, which means Ryuichi's send is all the more impressive and should be treated as such. Dude was completely freaking spanned out. Seriously, look at this shit. He is 100% at his absolute max right there. That is actually goddamn insane. Anyways, I'm assuming you people have probably already heard about the send over and over, so I'm not gonna bore you with the final details. But yeah, guy's now the 18th person to ever climb 9AV17. He's reportedly trying Shaolin as well, which I have a feeling he has a good chance of doing because it's not Morpho. So best of luck to him. And actually, looks like Return on the Sleepwalker was sent twice this past week. The second time by infamous cloud chaser Lincoln Knowles, aka Lincoln Climbs, who's renowned, however you freaking pronounce that word, for his viral free soloing a harder route every day until I fall series. They got everyone and their mother's panties all up in a bunch, except for Cedar Wright. He really seems to love that guy. And look, this dude just proved to all the haters that he knows exactly what he's doing. Because to be honest, I didn't think it was possible to go from being a pretty solid V5, V6 climber to a V17 one in literally a session. But we have video evidence of the guy sending, or at least just at the end of the send. Honestly, I would have been so pissed off at my friend for forgetting to hit record. That happened to me before. I get it. This dude, Ben, he used to be my friend. He put my phone down and spot me on a high ball. He thought I was going to fall off. With stupid piece of shit. Guy was going to be the best man at my wedding, but I honestly haven't talked to him since. It's a safety third for a reason, okay? Everybody knows that. Jesus Christ. Ben, what the fuck were you thinking? Point is, Lincoln, if you're watching this, please, you got to let me know what you've been doing for your training, because that sort of gains, that's something I really only would expect to come out of using something like steroids. Maybe I need to talk to the guys at Lattice. They deleted that video, it turns out. Oops. But a little more seriously, had a couple of people ask me to talk about this guy in the past, I guess mostly because they thought I was gonna shit on him or something. And yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Dude's trolling the shit out of climbing. And I think it's kind of good for a sport that literally involves going up rocks in the woods for like no reason other than because we can, to maybe kind of, take itself a little less seriously every once in a while. Do I personally like his content? No, I'm not his target demographic. But hey man, dude's killing it with what he's doing. And to everyone who wants to say stuff about his cloud chasing shit, all I can really do is leave you with this little moment from The Big Short that kind of summarizes the whole thing.
How come you don't hate this guy? He's everything you taught us not to trust.
I can't hate him. He is so transparent in his self-interest that I kind of respect him.
And if anyone's still wondering if he sent or not because you have zero media literacy, no, he didn't. He did not do the boulder. He's not strong enough by a lot. And then we got to talk about this latest Lattice videos. Don't know, haven't watched it. Honestly, don't really even bother looking for it anymore. Lattice has now deleted it. But they released the 30-minute video talking about performance-enhancing drugs in climbing. And they've done so not as a way of saying, you know, hey, maybe don't take drugs that could very likely fuck you up, but more of in a, you know, a way that primarily outlines the effects of some of these substances. Essentially, the video kind of goes through what the best stuff someone might take if they wanted to be as good of a climber as they possibly could be. And look, I have quite a few problems with this. I don't even know where to really start. But first things first, PEDs are aid. I'm sorry, but they're aid by like definition. You're taking a shortcut. You're using a drug to literally aid you up a climb. Nothing you do counts. You're cheating the game. You're cheating yourself, and on top of that, you're doing so all while putting your long-term health at risk. I think it's stupid. If you want to do it, you know, fuck it, go ahead. But you should absolutely be telling people that that's what you're doing. You ain't free climbing, you're aid climbing. Either that or your whole body is just, you know, one giant walking dab. Because these drugs work. There's like, they really freaking work and they work well. So maybe just, you know, I don't know, like maybe if you're on the juice, you get to take 3 grades less for whatever climbs you do. I think that's probably a fair comparison. It's like, so you take, you know, you go and take your drugs and then you go do off the wagon and you take 8A V11 for it because you're not natty and you're cheating. But aside from all of this, I mean, Lattice, what the actual fuck? Look, you guys are supposedly the main guy, the ultimate authority on climbing training. You're doing scientific studies on climbing movement and climbing strengthening exercises. You have more data than a freaking Amazon server farm, according to Ollie Tor, who was just in the Test Piece podcast bragging about all the knowledge he's collected. And it all sounded very impressive, extremely impressive. You've managed to convince the climbing world that you guys really, 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 really know what the fuck you're talking about. And then you go and do this, which is you put out a video about an incredibly taboo subject with extremely complex scientific and medicinal implications, and you do so without any actual formal knowledge on the subject at all. Your expert in the field is just a dude who's experimenting with this stuff on his own. Yeah, one of a very few people in climbing who is openly speaking about his use of PEDs and experimenting with them, but ultimately a guy who is not a medical doctor and in no way an expert or professional on the subject. Yeah, he knows his stuff a little bit and he's formed his own opinions and he's done research, but my God, he's not an endocrinologist. He's not a pharmacologist. He's got this giant freaking warning at the beginning of all his videos telling you that. And to be extremely clear, I'm not trying to shit on Adam from Anabolic Climbing. I've spoken to him before. He seems like a very nice guy. Honestly, if a climber were to be found doping in the future, I'd probably ask him about it in the hopes he'd be willing to point me in the right direction. He's probably the best guy to do so. But I'm not Lattice freaking training. This is more of a comedy show than anything else. I'm not an authority or one of the most well-respected authorities in climbing training, putting out a poorly researched overview of what freaking steroids climbers should get on. Freaking Josh couldn't even say the goddamn names of the drugs he was talking about.
Diamox? Is that how you say it? Dexamethasone?
Yeah, he's doing it for, you know, because comedy or whatever, but for fuck's sake, dude, read the room. This is honestly, this is my biggest issue with this video. PEDs use in climbing is not a topic that's been talked about at all, like at all. It's something that deserves an extremely well-researched, well-thought-out, well-written report, and it's something that Lattice is theoretically in the best position to do. I mean, hell, it's supposedly the exact thing that they do, and yet what we got was a half-assed script and a video that was created probably and almost exclusively for clicks. And that's the freaking problem. Social media and all these other platforms have completely flattened the entirety of the subjective human experience into a tone-deaf nightmare where very little thought is put into how we present extremely complex issues beyond questioning whether or not these issues will get clicks. It's absolutely insane to me that the people at Lattice didn't consider the very obvious implications of what they were publishing before actually publishing them. It's why I'm not giving them some leeway despite the fact that they deleted the video. Deleting the video was probably for the best given they had next to no real information, but what lesson did they learn here, if any? Plus, also, now I can't help but wonder, is that how they operate at all levels? Do they just kind of sort of, wing it? Do they have one or two people who maybe sort of know what they're saying and who position themselves as authority figures when in reality their knowledge is actually super limited? I mean, if they're willing to publish a surface level overview about a topic they barely understand, what else have they done that with? But man, that's just me. You know how this show works. Whole thing's meant to be a conversation, so I'd love to hear all of your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. Did you actually get to watch the video? Let me know. All right, time to switch gears and just talk about Sam Weir, who is just on an absolute tear. Dude has apparently done all the moves of Arrival of the Birds. He's just sent Poison the Well 8C Plus a few weeks ago. He almost flashed his first ever 8C V15 when he fell off the easy part of the lion's share. And now he's sent From Dirt Grows the Flowers, which is also 8C V15. I mean, look, is there a lot to say here? I don't know. Dude is an absolutely freaking monster. He's sent 4 8C plus V16 boulders at this point, 14 8C V15s. Oh, how many 8B pluses? I didn't really bother to count them, but probably a lot. He's one of the strongest boulders alive right now, and yet for whatever reason, he's just not that well known. I mean, I don't really know why. I'm going to link his YouTube channel below. He puts up a lot of ascents on there. And yeah, man, go check it out if you want to see him climbing. I mean, he's very much top of the list of probable people who will be sending 9A V17 this season. That's my prediction. For sure, he's one to look out for. But let me know if you agree or not. Because, I mean, I don't know, man. People seem to just kind of not know who he is. Wild. Wild to me. And then, speaking of people who are on a tear, we move on to the sport climbing world where Filip Schenk has had a pretty good couple of weeks. Dude went and sent Tremu Polazzi, a 9A514D route in Arco, in just 2 days. He sent his first ever 9B 515B Erebor about a week later, and has just now sent his first ever 9A plus 515A beginning, which is kind of ironic given he sent 9B before 9A plus, and the 9A plus name is Begin. Is it surprising? No, he's a comp kid. He was already strong enough to send 9B. He's just gone out, he's not gone outdoors all that much. It keeps happening, which is kind of funny. The whole skipping a grade thing isn't really all that impressive anymore by default. We now have to likely consider the circumstances surrounding the person that's sent who is skipping all the grades. I mean, just look at Brooke Rabatu sending 9B plus before she'd even done 9A. I find that hilarious. I mean, we all knew she was capable of doing that. Anyways, awesome stuff to see people sending hard stuff. Big ups to Filip for his send of Erebor. It's a very cool line, very sustained moves on small holds and a final heartbreak bouldering section where most people seem to fall off that he tried on and off since 2024. So yeah, very cool to see. Also, he's not going back to training for comps, so we're likely not going to be hearing about him much outside of that space for a while. Best of luck with the train. And on to more stuff I missed, but I gotta talk about Bryce Viola or Viola. I'm gonna go Viola because that's the instrument. He just sent King Condor. It's probably one of the more epics that I've ever seen. He took 8 years to do the freaking 8 years to do the problem. What is wrong with me? I can't speak. It took him 8 years to do it, gave it 8C V15. I mean, that is so freaking sick. Can you imagine the dedication it takes to give a problem 8 years of your life and then the ultimate satisfaction of knowing that you freaking did it? And also, I mean, just, it's such a cool boulder problem too. I mean, the guy had to literally build a freaking net for it in order to try it and not die probably. Dude, I started climbing in the northeast of the US, and the amount of rock and potential out there is insane for how little love it actually gets. Seeing Bryce and dudes like Austin Hoyt putting in the work to show the world that there's awesome climbing around there is pretty rad. So yeah, man, massive congratulations to Bryce on that multi-year project. As Chris Sharma would say, mucho tiempo. And yeah, on to the next one. Next, let's talk Sean RHM, or I guess his real name is Sean Houchins-McCallum. What the R stance. It's not important. You might know this dude from his tension board climbing, which is like basically all he does. Dude was in one of the tension board lord videos, tension board lord 7, which is in my opinion one of the best ones. Also featured Hamish and Noah Wheeler, which is, you know, not a terrible crew. I haven't even said why I'm featuring this dude. Guy just sent Echalo 8C V15 in Colorado as his first ever of the grade, which is pretty freaking rad. I mean, that boulder is actually really freaking cool. There's no videos at Gala. I'm gonna link it down below if you want to check it out. But basically 4 sessions spread out over about 2 seasons. He did the stand, which is AB plus in a sesh in spring, and then 3 sessions this Thanksgiving week. So yeah, it's awesome stuff from Sean, who's incredibly strong, and it's pretty freaking cool to see the dude trying stuff on rock finally. Stoked to see what else he's capable of. Let's move on. And 2 more quick hits that I completely missed while I was away. The French are doing Frenchy things in America. Both Mejdi Schalk and Simon Lorenzi have sent Defying Gravity. Jules Marchaland, it seems, was not able to do the climb, which, you know, small part of me is like, ah, stupid bitch. But the other part of me that's like, you know, an actual human being is legitimately bummed out he didn't do it. Dude's trying Shaolin, it seems, so maybe he'll do that thing instead. That would actually be freaking sick if he pulls it off. I'm gonna have to, you know, act very upset. You know, I'll be very pissed that my nemesis sent the awesome boulder. In other news, none of us have any idea who could possibly be the protagonist of the upcoming Tension Board Lords episode. Like, on the one hand, Tension needs to make sure that Quinn's stops popping up all over, spoiling surprises. The other, as Ben Wheeler would say, dude's too damn handsome to not, and we all kind of want to see him everywhere. So, yeah, it definitely won't be these Frenchies who conveniently are also 3 guys, which is exactly the number of Tension Board Lords that are continuously featured in most of the Tension Board Lords episodes. That's just pure coincidence and not at all an indication of anything that's coming in the next few weeks, probably. On a side note, if you have yet to watch the Tension Board Lords episodes, go watch those videos right now. It's very much some of the best climbing content on the internet. Even if you don't like climbing, it's kind of difficult not to like them. They're really well made. Like, I don't care about indoor climbing all that much, but I will drop everything I'm doing if Tension uploads a Board Lords episode. Those are undeniable bangers. Like, what even is mellow anyways? Right, and then last but not least, Miles Perry, just giving us yet another repeat of Grand Illusion 8C plus V16. If his 8A.NU profile is to be believed, this is his first of the grade. He's only ever done one other 8C, which is Sound of Violence. Boy, that was also just sent by Paul Robinson, which is really cool to see is back to climbing again. He just put up a video of that boulder, Paul did. If you want to check that out, links up here for your viewing pleasure. But yeah, Paul Robinson's a freaking legend. Go watch his stuff. Grand Illusion has now gotten 11 ascents, which is pretty rad to see. Makes it the 4th most repeated 8C plus boulder if my data is still up to date, which it might not be, but still should be. It's behind Sleepwalker, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and Off the Wagon Low in that order. So yeah, cool stuff. Big congrats to Miles for this send. Again, go check out Paul Robinson's video, The Sound of Violence, because it's cool. Links to everything course is also just down below. But hey, that was some climbing news. I think I got up to date, but let me know in the comments if I missed anything particularly important. These last few weeks have been crazy for me, so I apologize that I was gone for as long as I was. But hey, I will continue with the regularly scheduled Tuesday, Friday programming unless you guys disagree and would prefer Monday, Thursday, or some other schedule. Let me know. But otherwise, as always, or usually, I will hopefully see you guys on Friday at the latest. But until then, of course, go climb some stuff.